We're busy working with some of Australia's largest companies, as well as a whole lot of for-profits that are really purpose-driven and make a massive impact to the Australian community. And every single one of these organizations, they're quite different on where they are on the AI scale. The reasons why these organizations get involved with AI in the first place really ranges. Some, it's purely fear of missing out. They're wondering what's going on, should they hop on? Others, their boss just told them to dive into it. But there's a very special category where this is a group of organizations, and it doesn't matter if you're the biggest organization in Australia or you're a two-person not-for-profit. They've really seen the power of the technology and they want to be a pioneer. One great example of this is there's one organization we're working with. They have an ambition to add another 5 service lines. They have 1 at the moment. And they want to add these 5 service lines over the next 3 years, but they don't want to do 5 times the amount of effort, and they want to use technology and automation to really scale their impact. Now, if you're in that pioneer category or you want to get to that pioneer category, there's 4 ways to get started. So the first is educate and inspire. It's 3 levels of education. It's your board, it's your executives, and it's your middle management. You really want to get them excited, aware that this technology is absolutely groundbreaking. There's a fantastic book called Innovator's Dilemma, 1997, iconic Harvard Business School book by Clayton Christensen that showed that 90% of organizations, 90% of organizational giants of industry lost significant market share whenever there was a new technology. So you have to arm your organization leadership with understanding this. Beware of consultants that just show all sorts of PowerPoints in these sessions. You really want to get them excited. It has to be demo driven. You have to make them aware of how amazing this technology is, and not as a threat, but something to get really excited about and embrace. There's one company we're working with at the moment where it's their strategy team, and we're going to do a 4-week strategy engagement in the space of 90 minutes with this team, showing them how to use all sorts of AI-driven tools. The second thing you need to do is give permission to tinker. So if you're one of those organizations that says we're all in on AI, we encourage use, but they're not allowed to use company information, that's ridiculous. You would never tell your employees we're all in on Microsoft Office, but you're not allowed to use Word to do it for work purposes. You have to give your employees an environment that they can start building things, that they can tinker, and not ask themselves every time, am I allowed to do this? Or even worse, you're expecting them to pay for ChatGPT themselves. That just is not taking AI seriously, and you're going to get left behind. The third thing is actually coming up with your signature catalyst build. Look for the process where you want to get 95 to 100% efficiency. You want to eliminate a whole step completely and eliminate a whole process completely. There is something where you go, could AI do X, Y, Z? And to give you a small example that really illustrates this is, we're working with one company at the moment to completely automate the board minutes and post-board actions process. So the last 5 minutes of the meeting, it's going to pop up. These are all the actions and commitments and decisions made during this board meeting, and that's going to happen automatically. At the moment, at the end of the board meeting, it takes hours and days to get this done. And the final piece is, once you're starting to get this momentum, it's time to actually create a lightweight operating model. Not one that slows you down, but the one that actually enables you to go faster because you know you're doing it securely. There's 4 key elements to any AI operating model. First is people. So how are you going to train people to use the tools? What new talent do you need to recruit? And how do you coach people with the right mindset and how to keep going with this? The second is processes. How do you evaluate which processes are best suited for AI? How do you change those processes to suit AI? And how do you prioritize? Which ones should you start with? The third one is technology. Which tools do you need? It's going to be quite a bucket of tools that you need. How do you monitor the usage of those tools and stay abreast of any changes? You don't want costs to spiral out of control. And the third one is, what frameworks will you have for deciding all of these things and where you put information and different levels of assessment and risk? And the final bucket is risk. Risk more broadly across all of these components. So legislation, privacy, and security, all bucketed under responsible AI. So those are the ways to get started. I know it's overwhelming. It's difficult to know where to begin. We host regular workshops showing all sorts of ways to get started. They're free, they're typically an hour to 90 minutes. Just look at my bio. We've got a couple coming up in the next few weeks. It's a great way to figure out where to get started.